When I first began my mission, there were only 8 sisters in the entire mission. And when I left, there were more than 30. And it keeps growing. They keep on receiving new sisters. And I think the first thing is, don't be afraid when you get your mission call, when you realize that you're going to be serving in the jungle. It's terrifying. I felt that way. I had a 2-hour warning that I was going to be flying to the jungle, and it was terrifying. But once you get there, you adjust, and you have to trust that you're going to adjust and that the Lord is going to help you. Another thing is just be obedient. I didn't understand some of the rules. I hated sleeping with a mosquito net every night. I hated having to put on mosquito repellent before I left every day. It was hard for me. I always wanted to stay out as late as I could, prostrating. I didn't want to be home right at 9. But doing those things helps you be safe. I was very sick several times on my mission. I had typhoid fever, I had a concussion, I had parasites twice. I actually fell in a sewer and hurt my leg. I was in a knee brace for the last 6 months of my mission. And I just remember that it was so much easier to deal with than I thought it would be. Like, I thought I would just feel tortured with the things I would face, but as I faced them, and as I faced things that were harder than I thought I would face, I just learned that the Lord makes us strong enough. So that would be one of the first things to tell sisters, that if you're being called to the Peru Iquitos mission, it's because the Lord trusts you and He knows how strong you are. On the lighter side, when it comes to buying clothes, buy simple clothes. Be prepared to basically pull your hair back in a ponytail every day. At the beginning of my mission, I tried to straighten my hair, and I have normally straight hair, but with the humidity, it wouldn't stay that way long. I tried to wear makeup, and that would last for like 5 minutes by the time you walk in there. So take things in stride. Realize that you're not there to be a fashion model. You want to look like a representative of Jesus Christ, but you're not going to look your best in your entire life. Make sure you have clothes that are comfortable. I would get shoes that are easy to walk in because you will walk a lot. Just kind of like cottony type fabrics are really good. Just everything light. Don't pack everything in the whole world that you think you'll need. I was surprised at how easily I was able to get a lot of things. It is the jungle, but it is civilized. There are stores where you can get all of the toiletries and things that you need. And just as you prepare for your mission, just try to focus on being spiritually prepared, and the rest will come. Don't worry about all of the little things and how you're going to survive the jungle. Just focus on what you can do.
I had no idea what cold humidity was like. And maybe because I'm just from dead center Utah and it's really dry here. But when it's humid and it's cold, even though, when I looked up the weather, it said that it was only going to be, their winters are maybe 60, maybe 50s at the very coldest in Fahrenheit, and then their hottest is 80s or 90s, and I thought, wow, this is perfect weather. This is not going to be too cold or too hot, and so I planned for that. But when it gets 50 or 60 degrees and it's 100% humidity, because it is literally 100% humidity, it is cold. It is very cold. It's like you feel like you're just swimming in cold water, like in a cold swimming pool all day. It's the weirdest feeling. I don't know how to describe it. Maybe other sisters or brothers know what that feels like because they're from humid places, but I am not. And so I didn't understand that. And so I found that I actually wore like Under Armour underneath my jackets or underneath my blouses. And I'd actually wear like big, thick panty leggings. Not leggings, but just like that they cover your feet too. So I guess like they're like nylons, but they're really thick. They're basically like pants, and I'd wear that underneath my skirts. Because if you have something that's tight on your skin, then it helps it. Because if you just have a big coat over it, like Utah, you just don't warm up. I don't know how to express the feeling. It's really weird. But if you have something that's tight on your skin and then you have a couple layers on, then that keeps you really warm. Also, to bring blankets, because I didn't bring enough blankets because most of the places where you'll be living in it is third world rooms or third world living, and so you don't have air conditioning or heaters anywhere except for like the temple. And so that's like the only place that you get to have that luxury. So in the night times it gets really cold and you can't leave the heater running all night because it's really dangerous. The little space heater, it's just dangerous to keep it on all night. And so anyways, I just suggest to bring, just don't be tricked by the numbers of 60 to 80. Bring good clothing for cold weather. And then during the summer, it does get really hot. And so if you just have a t-shirt, or not a t-shirt, but like a nice blouse that you can wear and you don't have to wear an undershirt with it or something like that, you can just have that blouse on. I'd highly suggest that, because the less layers, the better, because it just gets really, really hot. And to have have some skirts that are long and some of them that are just like at the cover your knee length, how the mission suggests it, because it gets hot. It's pretty hot during the summer. So, but it's great. It's totally worth it.
So for sister missionary advice, I think any advice that I would have to give you would be, honestly, I would tell you, like, bring 18 months worth of tampons, honestly, because tampons don't exist there. And if you can find them every once in a while if you're lucky. And they're like expensive and hard to come by and everything, and you don't find them very often. So I would tell you to bring 18 months worth of tampons or whatever you use. Well, if you use something else, then you'll probably be able to find it. But yeah, so do that just because that's good and you'll need it. And I would also say not to worry about doing your hair and your makeup all the time, because there are more important things to focus on the mission, and that is important. I brought a straightener and a blow dryer. I never used the blow dryer, and I used the straightener only when I had like meetings and stuff like that. Oh, and I brought a wand as well. And I used the wand only when I had meetings and interviews and things like that. But every other day my hair was just down or in a ponytail or in a bun or something like that. And then as far as makeup goes, like, don't worry about makeup. The only makeup I brought on my mission was a thing of mascara, and like some powder. I never used the powder. And most days I didn't even put on mascara, but then days that I had to get ready, I would put on. And then I think I eventually bought a little thing of eyeshadow. And so on days that we had to get ready, I would put on like what little powder I had. I would put on a little bit of mascara and like a little bit of eyeshadow, and that was just it. But like regular days, I didn't do anything, like natural hair, no makeup. There just isn't time for that on the mission, and there's not really a need for it or a demand. You're beautiful just the way you are. People are attracted to you by the spirit that you carry, and not by the way you look and everything. So my advice to sister missionaries is not to worry about those things. This is for anyone in general and not specifically to sisters. But I would also just be careful. I've been robbed. I was robbed twice. I was robbed twice on my mission. Once was when I was walking through a market, and another time was at night. Some men broke into our house in the middle of the night. And so I just suggest being careful, keeping your camera or your cell phone just close to you, and keeping like your bag close to you. Don't leave pockets open, and make sure that you just have a hold on it. Like my camera was stolen when I was walking through a market because I had my bag on, but I just wasn't holding it close. Like it was just like at my side. And so just through a busy market, my camera got stolen out of my bag. But if you like hold it close to you, then they won't be able to take those things. So just be careful, like walking through busy markets and dark streets and things like that. And then yeah, our house was broken into that we were living in. There wasn't really anything we could do about that. We were just blessed that we weren't hurt, because we heard them and saw them in the house, but they didn't break into our room or anything, so we were lucky for that, I guess. But yeah, just be careful. And then for the sisters, catcalling does happen, but you just have to not pay attention to it and not give it, like, if you give it any importance, like if they get a reaction out of you, then they're going to think it's funny and they're going to do it more. But if you are just like the bigger, more mature person, then it won't be such a big deal. Yeah. And that's from a sister's experience. I don't know if similar things happen to elders. I've heard of women calling to elders and things like that. But anyway, so that's from a sister's point of view and experience. Just, it's not great, but just don't give it any importance and just ignore it. And just that they don't get a reaction out of you and everything will be okay. It's not really that bad. You learn to live with it. As far as clothing goes, in the Trujillo mission, it's, really great weather. I brought a few cardigans, but I didn't really wear them much. I wore them when I was out in the mountains because it does get chilly there and it rains there. But the thing is that it's not guaranteed that you'll go there because it's only one zone, and most of those zones are on the coast. And so I wouldn't pack things like bring rain boots and bring rain jackets and stuff, like expecting that you'll go there, because you'll probably never use them. If you do get sent there, they have rain boots, and that they have rain boots in every apartment, and you may be able to get a rain jacket, or they have rain jackets, and like most people, like if they go, they leave a jacket, or the mission has provided things, stuff like that. And then so I would bring like maybe a few cardigans, but down on the coast you won't wear them, and then out in the mountains you might need them. That's what I did. And I only wore like I only wore my cardigans and my jackets when I was out in the mountains. The rest of the mission is super warm, super beachy, super great, and you won't need things like that. And then as far as shoes go, I wore Crocs my whole mission, Croc flats. So they're like cute and plastic and easy to take care of and easy to clean. There's just like a lot of dirt, and it's like really windy and everything, and so there's just always a lot of dirt and dust and everything. And so like my shoes got dirty, but having Crocs was great because they were just so easy to clean. You just like stick them under the sink and wash them off, and they're plastic, and so they were fine to get wet and just dried super easy, and it's just really easy to take care of, and they were comfortable. And so I brought like 4 pairs of Croc flats, and I wore those like every single day of my mission, and they were great. But everything is like super dusty and dirty. Like I had like a permanent layer of dirt like on my ankles for like 18 months straight. Like no matter how hard I tried to like shower and scrub my feet, like they were just always dirty.
And as far as like crime and being safety, definitely as a sister missionary, I know any missionary, I know that we're so protected. In Juarez, I probably had a few more instances than I did in my other areas, but we were definitely protected and we were able to get out of the sketchy situations that happened. But especially as a sister missionary, I would recommend, as far as like clothing, like I wouldn't worry about buying super nice clothes because one, it's going to get worn down anyways because in our mission, at least, we would have a sister in the Lord. She would wash our clothes for us. And so from that, they would get worn down and just working all the time. They'd get worn down. And then, the less flashy and expensive looking, the less you stick out. I mean, because being American, you're going to stick out anyways. But that'll help not stick out so much because a lot of people assume, oh, you're from America, so you must have a lot of money. So it's best to, just be mellow with your clothing. Have something that looks nice, but that's not like super out there. But I would definitely have a couple of nice outfits, like for conference and things with the president. But other than that, just really you could just go to the DI and get some things that are comfortable, that are cute. But don't worry too much as far as the clothing. But I would rather like spend more money in the shoes that you wear, because like I said, you're going to be walking everywhere. We don't have bikes or anything, so definitely put more money into getting nice shoes that'll last you. I used I think it was called the Hush Puppy brand with the straps on it, and those worked really well. They were really comfortable and they lasted basically my whole mission, so I definitely recommend using those. And as far as jewelry, I didn't really wear jewelry. I wouldn't recommend it just because, like I said, you don't want to stand out too much. But I mean, it's probably like nice earrings or a necklace that's not too flashy might be okay, but definitely like don't go overboard on bracelets or anything. Just keep it as conservative as you can, and then you should be good. And as far as like how they greet people, like with sisters, we would give them a kiss on the cheek all the time. Sometimes, especially like members, the brethren wouldn't like try to give us a kiss on the cheek, but like non-members, that's just how it is in their culture. That's just how they greet people, and so it'd be hard. Sometimes you just have to stick it up, like sorry, just with a hand. But they were pretty understanding of that too if you just explain. But especially sister missionaries, just be careful with that. Just make sure people, especially like investigators or people you talk to, that they understand the rules and the boundaries, and they're pretty good with that. But they are very warm and welcoming and hugging, so that's definitely something I miss, because I know that is different with our culture. Like we aren't so warm and welcoming even to complete strangers. So that's definitely something I love about the people of Peru. Another thing I would recommend for sister missionaries, as far as like hygiene and stuff, like I don't know if they thought it was some like taboo or anything, but like it was like you wouldn't be able to find tampons down there. So I definitely, if you prefer to use those, definitely take a bunch before you leave, because the only place I remember finding them was like if it was like in a big city, like in a really nice store, and at that, if you could find them, it'd probably be only like a box of 5, because like here in America you can get like a box of 50, but down there it's not really common to find them. So definitely I would suggest taking some before you go, and then that way you're covered. And as far as water, make sure you don't drink the water from like the tap or anything, because it probably is contaminated. I think I like even when I was brushing my teeth, I think I like drank too much when I was doing that, and I think I got sick one time from that. So in the Peru MTC, we got water bottles that had filter in it, so I would definitely use that. Or what we would do for water, we would just, like, it came in boxes, but like it was in a bag, like a bag of water, so we would buy those, or just water bottles from the store, because there's little stores everywhere, and so you can use that too. But I definitely recommend using that, so just so you don't run into the risk of getting sick. But some people are fine, but some people don't handle it well, so definitely, just make sure you're careful with what kind of water you're drinking. With the language, I mean, Spanish is really common. A lot of people at least know a few words before they go on their mission, but when I got my call, I was so excited to be able to learn Spanish and become fluent in it. And I had took Spanish in high school, and I thought, oh yeah, I'll do pretty good. Like, I think I would be able to talk to people pretty good at first, but you think you know what you're gonna say, but then once you actually talk to natives, you have no idea what they're saying. And so definitely, just expect that it's probably going to be a little hard for the first while, but don't let that scare you away from talking. Like, that's one of the things that I would most recommend to be able to learn the language and get it down. Just talk as much as you can, because they understand that you're learning, and they appreciate that you're trying to learn. And tell them that if you're comfortable with that, tell them that you want them to help you learn it and to correct if you say things wrong. Because I think a lot of people, like when I realized later on when I learned more, like when I was maybe saying things wrong, they would just like smile and nod, because they mostly understood what I was saying, but I think they didn't want to like hurt your feelings. So definitely tell people, especially your companions, tell them to, correct them, help improve your Spanish, because talking and actually getting feedback from the natives is how you're going to learn it best. But, above all, if anything, it's the gift of tongues that is going to help you. And I know that the gift of tongues is real, and that's truly how you're going to have success and be able to teach the people and touch their hearts. And don't, that's something that sometimes I would take for granted, but then, when I was reminded of it, I would pray for it. But pray every day of your mission for the gift of tongues, to be able to, not only to be able to talk to people, but so they can understand you and so you can understand them. So it goes for both ways. So pray for yourself that you'll be able to speak it clearly and be able to learn and understand, but also so that the people can understand you. And even once you get, feel like you're getting comfortable, getting good with the language, don't let that stop you from asking for the gift of tongues. You need it continually every day on your mission. And it's only going to help you get better and to feel more comfortable to really speak with the Spirit. And that's something that really humbled me, because I remember so I was in my second transfer. It was right before the mission change. So our mission president and his wife had come up to Juarez to kind of like a farewell meeting, but we got to have Sis Hermana Archibald, the mission president's wife, come with us when we were tracting and talking to people. And she, at that point, like, she wasn't like super fluent in Spanish, but I thought it was so amazing to just watch her. You could just feel the Spirit with her and having her talk to the people. She wasn't, like I said, she wasn't super fluent and didn't know all the words, but it was amazing to watch the people, and they could understand her and knew what she was saying. And I know that was through the gift of tongues and through the Spirit helping us be able to do that. So definitely be humble enough to ask for the help of the Spirit to have the gift of tongues, and you'll see amazing things with that. With companions, like, advice I would give, it's definitely a good preparation for, becoming an adult, eventually getting married. Something that I learned that would help is, learn to say sorry, even if you don't feel like you're wrong, because that helps, like if you're having struggles with your companion, in companionship inventory, take the time to really talk about things, but, be willing to be humble and to say you're sorry, like I said, even if you feel like you didn't do anything wrong. Because I remember one time when I was in a companionship inventory, and I'm not even sure what would happen, but like I could feel like she was upset or frustrated with me for some reason. But I just told her, like, I'm sorry if I said this, we just talked about that. I just expressed that I'm sorry for if I had done something wrong. And I could just see, like, when I was trying to be humble, I could just see kind of like her defense melting, and she's like, wow. And so definitely that's a huge thing I would tell missionaries to do. Just try to be humble and just say you're sorry, and that helps things a ton. And definitely, but like if it comes to being obedient, you definitely want to be obedient to the best you can, even if you need to stand up to your companion, because not only will you be blessed for that, but you also will be able to know that, you have no regrets over that.
Just advice about the clothing. Buy stuff that will last a long time, that will last a lot of washes and still look nice, but that's light. You'll definitely need you'll need a jacket, because it does get cold in the winter. Even though it doesn't snow, it gets cold and humid. But I personally, everyone told me to buy their orthopedic shoes and with a really thick sole and a really thick heel, and everyone loves them. And I bought them, but I didn't love them. They said, they gave me great support and stuff, but in Peru, it was just hard because there's a lot of like uneven roads. So you have like this big clunky hill, and it's like, it doesn't work that well. What worked best for me was like flat shoes, and then shoe inserts, like sole inserts that would give me the support I needed. And so I would say find that. That would be good. Get skirts that you're comfortable in. I would say that pencil skirts, especially in Peru, are probably not the best idea. Yeah, for various reasons. I would say go for more of like an easy to walk and move quickly in skirt.
As much as you can, learn from your companion. You should be with a native, hopefully most of the time. When I had been out for 2.5 months, or 2 transfers, I was put with a sister from America who was only out for 3 transfers. That was probably when we did most of our dumb stuff, not on purpose, just one, we stuck out horribly because there's 2 white girls walking down the street. But as long as you obey the rules, it's a safe place. Obviously, your mission president will keep you safe. He won't be putting you in places where it won't be safe, especially for the sisters. The elders take the more rough parts. And just be aware of your surroundings. Don't, if you have a camera, don't just hang it outside of your backpack. Keep it safe. Keep it simple, keep it safe, be aware of your surroundings. And really, in the end, God will protect you. There were times when I know that we were trying to be robbed, and there were times we were confronted by robbers and on deserted streets at night. But God took care of it. He'll protect you. He'll keep you safe as long as you are praying, you're working hard, and you're trying to be safe. He'll protect you.